I am Jack Lenny.
And I'm Kate Lenny.
And we are Makers. We Are Makers is set up with one mission, and that is to represent and spotlight all the makers of the globe.
We Are Makers came around from me being a maker myself. I started up my own business and realised how difficult it was for businesses to share their story and their craft. So we decided to come up with a magazine that shares maker stories from all across the world.
We knew to effectively tell people's stories, we couldn't just do it by print.
Yeah.
So the next logical step was to do it audio. And what podcasting has done for us is allowed us to speak to way more makers. By having the two different platforms, it allows us to cater to all different makers. One of the key strengths of We Are Makers, I think, is the community that surrounds that, and that primarily is the community of makers.
Yeah, bringing people together and giving them a voice to share their story, and We Are Makers provides that platform.
That whole community is a result of Kate and I being boots on the ground. Yeah. Without being boots on the ground, I don't feel we would have built the community. So one of the key things for us podcasting is to create a podcast that was in a maker's safe space. So by bringing the podcast to them, it did mean that we were getting a more honest and genuine conversation. To me, a conversation is the most natural human interaction.
Sitting down and having a real conversation with someone I think is really important. Sitting face to face, you can build relationships with.
And that's exactly why we decided with our podcast we were going to come and speak to people in person, no matter where they are in the globe. It's changed everything really with regards to podcasting.
Yeah, being able to go to their workshop has allowed us to help them share their story.
Yep.
They don't have to travel, which is a big thing.
Podcasting isn't typically something you would travel with. And one of the major issues with that is that you don't know the spaces you're going into. They may not be well soundproof. You may get a lot of noise, reverberation. We couldn't travel overseas. It was just too much kit, too much cables. There's a lot of setup that goes with that as well, and a lot of setup that has to be right, which is very difficult to do if you don't know the space you're going into. I don't think it's any exaggeration to say that Nomono has completely changed the way we work and the way we perform podcasts. Yeah. It's a much smaller unit, much more convenient unit. The discreet aspect of it, not having a big mic or cans, headphones on the whole time has meant that we can have a very easy conversation with makers because you forget that you're on a podcast, and that's really what we pride ourselves in being able to do. I'm interested in one thing when I'm podcasting, it's having a conversation with the maker. As soon as we finished a podcast, we hook the Nomono up wirelessly to our hotspot on our phone. That starts uploading to the cloud straight away. Log on to the Nomono's cloud, hit enhance. So once it's enhanced, it does its thing, it enhances. I can usually download it that same night and then sync that up with our video. Usually within 48 hours, depending on how hectic our schedule is, we are able to release that for our YouTube channel with the Nomono equipment.
Yeah.
A lot of the work is done for us. We have the ability to do way more podcasts, and that's the real important thing. The more we can do, the more we can put out, and the better we can represent the makers of the world.